Hey everybody, Bobby Blackwolf, Voice of Geeks Network, VogNetwork.com. It's another Tesla road trip. This one, not as long. I'm going from Atlanta to a work event up in Nashville. It is the 1st of May, so yes, I do have the prerequisite song playing here on the radio. But we're going from Atlanta to Nashville. If I had a higher end car, I only have a 70D Tesla Model S. If I had a 90 or something, I probably could make this entire trip without stopping, just like the rest of you. It's about 230 miles from my house to the hotel in Nashville, which is easily done in a 90, which I think has like a 270 mile max charge. You have plenty of time. But at a max charge, I only have 235 miles. I didn't range charge on the way there because there are two Superchargers. So I left my house with a 90% battery, which is about 208 miles with the battery degradation. It goes down the first year. When I bought the car almost a year ago, I had 215 miles at 90%. Now I get 208. That's normal. I'm not freaking out. So I'm stopping in Chattanooga at the Supercharger there and in Nashville. The Chattanooga Supercharger is actually pretty close. It's about 90 miles from my house. And then it's about 150 or 160 miles from there to Nashville. So why am I doing this video? It's because it's not as long of a trip as the last one I did. But there is actually something neat that happens on the leg from Chattanooga to Nashville that I want to show you guys. So hopefully I'll be able to show that to you. So one of the things I also wanted to bring up is, you know, the response to the last video was great. But one thing somebody asked me was, how do you drive in thunderstorms? And I looked at them, and I mean, I understand why they're asking, because this is an electric vehicle. It's all electric. You don't want to get batteries wet, and you don't want, you're afraid of lightning and stuff. And I know all about that. My house was struck by lightning a couple years ago, and I had like thousands of dollars worth of damage. But I drove through the thunderstorm just like every other car on the road. That is the last thing I'm worried about. It is not a problem. I'm not worried about anything getting wet. I mean, there's a titanium shield around the battery that's below me. The car has rubber tires just like everybody else, so it's insulated. It's just as safe in this car as any other car on the road. And remember, your car has a battery in it too. It's just not as big as mine. And I actually have that same battery in this car. I have two batteries in this car. So I drove through that just fine. That does affect range a little bit, which is why I'm glad I'm stopping at the Superchargers and not trying to make it all in one run. So we're going to be heading to the Chattanooga Superchargers. This is the Supercharger I have been to the most often because I work from home, but my office is in Chattanooga, so I go here a lot. But it's also one of my least favorite Superchargers, and I'll explain why when we get there. And then the Nashville Supercharger is actually at a Tesla showroom, but it's Sunday, so it's probably closed. So there won't be anybody there. But yeah, so this is a quick trip. I mean, it's about a 4-hour trip. And, that's like, I think charging adds about 30 minutes to the trip. So that's all I'm looking at adding. So I'm actually most of the way there. I wanted to kind of get out of the rain, get into some of the smoother parts of the road before recording this segment. But we're going to be heading up to Chattanooga. I'll actually be getting there in about 35 minutes. Into the Chattanooga International Airport. Yeah. So we made it to Chattanooga with 111 miles left. That's a lot. Did kind of what it expected. It arrived here with about 48% of the battery left. So no big deal. But we are now at the Chattanooga International Airport, and I'm going to walk out and go ahead and charge up. Not going to spend too long outside because this is an airport, and they may not be exactly cool with somebody filming in an airport. You can guess why. But we have 6 stalls here. So we have 6 stalls, and you'll notice, go ahead and get this open, get it in with my left hand. We're charging. The nice place about this is that it's got these down here. So that means that I know exactly how far I need to back up without hitting the back. Now, why we have the vacate stall when charging is because this is an airport, and there are locals that will sometimes park their Tesla here for a week and take up charging spots. I'm getting in my car so nobody gets upset. This says 25 minutes left to charge. So, so obviously they are worried about that. So the airport added those signs, and I haven't heard of any problems of people parking here for the week with their Teslas. So, yeah, other than that, this is a airport that is open 24 hours. But there's no like vending machines outside of security. So there is a cafe. It closes at 6 o'clock. And most of the time when I'm here, it's after work on, no, go ahead and leave it on that. Most of the time it's after work. And so it's after 6 o'clock. And so I can go and use the restroom, but I can't like get another drink or anything like that. The thing to know about this is you probably saw that I had to go through a ticket counter. So I actually have a ticket because this is the long-term parking lot at the Chattanooga International Airport. However, if you have the first 2 hours free as a Tesla owner, so go up, put this in, and you'll probably see it when I go out. Actually, put this in the machine, and it will automatically open for you. Sometimes you'll get an attendant who's sitting over there looking at me right now because I've got a camera in my hand. You'll see an attendant, and they'll try to charge someone for the 2 hours. And that's usually because the attendant is new. So just remember that when you come here. But the fact that it's open, but there's nowhere to get drinks or something, it's one of my least favorite. It's kind of out of the way because I had to go north on 75, and now I'm going back down to go across 24. I do not like the airports in terms of places to charge. The Savannah, Georgia Supercharger, where I have not visited, is also at an airport, and that one you actually have to go get the ticket validated. At least this one, I don't have to validate this ticket. And as you can see, as I've charged, as I've been talking, I've already put in 119 miles, 120 miles. So yeah, that's all I kind of wanted to show here. The next segment, I'm actually not going to be using my little mount. It's actually not doing to, I even like put another sticky thing, but it fell. I need to figure out how to get a different mount. But there's actually something neat that's going to happen on the next leg that I want to show you. So it's not, you're not going to be able to look at my face, which I don't think you're upset about. We have about 20 minutes is what this says to charge. Let me see what it wants me to do. 142 miles to the next Supercharger in Nashville, which is actually in Brentwood, Tennessee. So I'm going to have to sit here, and I'll probably get that up to 170, 180, which is probably going to be about 27 minutes. Actually did below the 300 coming here because there were a lot of cops on the road, and there was an accident right at the state line here in Tennessee. So yeah, I'm going to go in, use the restroom, since the cafe is most likely open because it is 3:30 in the afternoon. It's still open. Go in, refill my drink, and then continue on the leg here from the Chattanooga International Airport to the Brentwood, Tennessee Tesla Service Center and Showroom, which will be closed because today's Sunday. So, remember when I said that I wasn't going to overcharge? I did. Here's what happened. The great thing about this, and I'd love to show you, but he's gone. Another Tesla showed up in that spot right as I was done filming, and he was driving the car for other people, and he was asking me questions about the Tesla and about road trips. He's going up to Michigan. He's actually going to Nashville, so I'll probably see him again in about 2 hours when we get there. But so yeah, so I have more than enough. I have fully up to 90%, 208 miles. I have 141 miles to get to the Nashville Supercharger, which I really don't even need. In fact, I don't even know if it's taking me. Yeah, it's still taking me to the Nashville Supercharger. I'll get there with 23% left. I can make it all the way to my location now with charge left, but I'm going to stop at the Supercharger anyway. So yeah, so I've got 2 hours, 19 minutes to get there. This says 6:38, but we're going to be changing time zones. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out of the Chattanooga airport with my ticket and everything, and head on up to the mountains. And I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, because I want to show you what happens in the car in the mountains. One thing I do want to show, I'm surprised I can show this. So you notice on my phone here at the top, I don't know if you can see it, it says it's 3:45. I've crossed into Central Time, but the Tesla clock shows 4:45. When we get around this curve here, I'm going to show you something really neat about this that a lot of people don't know. So if I tap 3 times on the clock, it repings the server and it changes it to Central Time. So that's a Tesla trip. If you're a Tesla owner and you cross time zones and the Tesla time, the clock in the Tesla hasn't actually worked, or it hasn't changed over, even though you know that you have based on your phone here, you just tap 3 times on the clock. It will reping the time server and get the latest time. All right, so as you can see from the energy graph, we have started an ascent up a mountain. You can actually see that we're going. So I have 150 miles left, starting at mile marker 50, and we're about to go up and over a mountain. So this is a part of the Appalachian Trail. It's in this part of Tennessee. If you can tell, we're in Montegale, I guess. We're at the part where the trucks have to use the right 2 lanes as we go over the mountain. So I will show you guys what it looks like at the top of the mountain, how the car handles, because the thing that you got to realize is that, every car actually takes more energy to go up a mountain. And in fact, if I actually show my consumption right now, you can see right there, I am using a lot of energy right now. And I'm only going, I probably shouldn't say, because I'm going over the speed limit, but not too over the speed limit. And I am using that much, like I'm averaging 430 watt hours per mile. 300 watt hours per mile is what it's rated at. There's a lot of energy being spent, and every car has this. You use a lot more gas going up a mountain, just like I do. What's interesting is what happens when you come back down. And that's one thing that gas cars don't have, and that's what I'm hoping to show you as I autopilot up and down this mountain, which is, I know I've got dash cam footage, but this is it in HD. So here we are going over the Appalachian Mountains, and I will see you at the top. All right, we have made it over the mountain. This is the last 5 miles. Look at that, like, and now I'm done, but we've gone 5 miles. I've lost 15 miles off of my battery. So I am down to 135 miles, and I started this at, what, 150? I hope I'm right on that. But now we're about to go back down the mountain. So, like, right now I've been using, for the past 5 miles, 601. So I've been using twice the amount of energy that I normally use just to get up this mountain. And now we want to get down on the other side. So I think I think we stay up here for a little bit and then we go back down and stuff. So I'm at 135. Yep, steep grade, mountain grade, next 4 miles. So that's what the sign just said. So we're going to go down the other side of the mountain. So I have about 134 miles left on the battery. And then now we're going to go down to the mountain and we're going to see what it looks like after I get down to the other side. So we have made it through the mountain, and you'll notice I averaged negative 21 watt hours per mile, negative 26 now, now that I'm back doing. So I have 133 miles left on the battery. So we started with 134. So I just went 4 miles and only spent 1 mile on the battery. So we've made it down to the other side. So going down the mountain, you can actually regenerate. I don't know if I actually regenerated anything. Theoretically, all these green shaded areas, or was when I was putting energy back in the battery, but it wasn't enough to make my mileage. I didn't get any miles back, but I was able to go the four miles. But if I did this 30 miles, you can actually see when I went up the mountain and then when I went down the mountain. And then now I'm going to be holding steady as I continue on into Nashville. I have 80 miles left to get into Nashville. Hour and 17 is what this is saying. And then we'll be at the Brentwood Tesla Service Center. Now it's going to be just a normal trip from this point on. The car is estimating that I will get there with 23% of my battery left. Yeah, I drove kind of fast. 32 miles from a 208 mile charge just to go something like, how far did I go? 150 miles. So yeah, I kind of overdid it. Like, it estimated 25%. I got here with 13%. I got a tweet. So yeah, so now I actually have to charge. It initially said I didn't have to charge. I am now in Brentwood, Tennessee. And we're going to head on out. It's a Tesla store. And these are the pull-in chargers. So I hope I actually pulled close enough. I did. So there's a whole bunch of Teslas. I don't see a Model X. And nobody else here yet. So just making sure that now we're setting up to supercharge. So So yeah, this one actually has 6 stalls. It is at the Tesla showroom. What's around, there's a Lexus dealership. There's a couple restaurants over there. But one thing that's interesting is that you will sometimes find dealer cars charging here. So I don't know if that's a dealer car or somebody's car. There's nobody else actually here. And now it's thundering and everything. But, and then they actually have a destination charger over here for their test drive cars. But one time I actually came here and there were 4 cars charging. I was the 6th car, and the other 4 were all dealer cars. So it's actually not good for people traveling through because they're not open on Sundays. So that kind of sucks. But luckily today it's not that bad. A lot of times you'll see it overnight, where they'll charge cars overnight, and then. But this is the service bay for all the Teslas in Tennessee, pretty much. And go over here. I don't know if they've got an X here or if they've got a refreshed S. They won't have a Model 3 here. I know that because those are still in test drive mode. That might be a refreshed S right there. That is a refreshed S right in there, with the new headlights that they got on the X and the new nose cone. So they do have a refreshed S. But they actually just have a whole bunch of cars sitting here. And when they're open, you can use the restroom and all that stuff, but they're not open today. So we have a P90D with Ludicrous here. You can tell it has the Ludicrous mode because it's got the underline. This one is just a regular 90D without the performance or the Ludicrous mode. And then this is another P90D with Ludicrous that they've got kind of showing out here, and they keep the lights on because they don't have to worry about the battery. They'll just charge it up later. So I'm pretty much done with my trip. So I'm gonna essentially just let things charge. Oops. Get it so I can see myself. Did I hit something? Am I still recording? I'm still not used to this thing. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with the trip. I only have like 20 miles to the hotel. I'm just charging up because I know I'm going to want to charge or drive around during the week. And then when I leave Thursday to go home, I'll stop right back here, charge up, go back to Chattanooga, do the entire reverse trip without recording, which is a little bit better. Yeah. So there I am. Install 1A. It is kind of hard to get, like, you have to turn really sharply to get into these. And actually this car is actually in the stall that I usually use, because I'll go up here into this area and then pull straight into there. That's the easiest one to get into, but this one wasn't too bad because you don't want to scuff anything. And I actually think this is my buddy that just pulled in, and I might have beat him here. I don't know if he wants to be on camera, so I won't show him on camera. So, all right, on to my hotel.